Oh, morning everybody. This is my first Facebook Live for quite a long time, so you'll bear with me if I'm struggling a bit. Today, welcome to Rediscovering Me, and today I wanted to talk about my inner critic. It's my birthday today, and I've been thinking a lot this morning about what I've achieved this year, and there's quite a lot of things, and I'm really pleased with how many sorry, I'm trying to see, I'm not very good at this, hang on. Tap to see who's watching. Hello Karen. Thank you for being here with me. So I've been thinking about all the things, and there are so many different things, and I feel really proud of what I've achieved this year. It's been an amazing year for me. But when I started thinking about them all, I realised that the things that tied it all together, the thing that tied it all together was managing to get some kind of a grip on my inner critic. So I was thinking back about how that happened, because I think it's really helpful, that voice that's inside your head that just continually says things about you that are so negative that if someone else said it to you, you'd be really offended and probably wouldn't be their friend. And I was reading a blog by a guy called Steve Chapman, and his blog is called Can Scorpions Smoke? And I really recommend it. And he was talking about his inner critic, and he decided that he was kind of getting sick of how much negativity there was coming from it. So he decided to call it Tom, and he made a puppet, a face of a puppet out of papier-mâché, and put some glasses on it. It's quite funny. It's on the blog. You'll see a picture of it. So he started, whenever it started speaking to him, he started getting the puppet out and speaking back to the puppet as if it was a real person, and he found it quite useful. And so one day he was thinking about Tom, this puppet, and thinking, how does the inner critic manage to have so much power over me, and where does he get his knowledge from and his experience? And so, oh, sorry about this, I've just been handed my birthday breakfast from my lovely son. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? Thank you, my Tom. He's not the inner critic. Thank you, Tom. And so he said that he wanted to find out, he wanted to do an investigation into his inner critic's credentials. What was it that gave him the qualification to be able to comment so negatively on Steve's ability to do different things? And so he started thinking about it, and the more he thought about it, the more he thought it was from years ago. And so he went to his parents' house, and he went up into the attic, and he dug through a load of paperwork, and he found his old school reports. And his school reports said this boy could do better, and lots of other things. And when he started reading the words, he recognised that the style of the words was the style that the inner critic used to speak. And so the voice that he had given to his inner critic was that of his old school teacher, who had been very negative about him and hadn't really been helping him to feel good about himself. And so basically this inner critic's experience was right back to when Steve was at 11, and he hadn't really taken into account anything that Steve had done since then, and all Steve's great achievements in his life since then. And it made me think a lot about my inner critic, and so I decided to give my inner critic a name and a persona. And she's actually called Candida, and that's because she thinks it's a nice name. We all know it's not, but she thinks it's a nice name. And she's very tall, and she's willowy and blonde with blue eyes, and which is interesting because that's more or less everything I'm not, apart from I am tall. Everything else I'm not. I might look blonde, but I'm not really. And so she isn't very clever, I don't think, but she is trying to help, and so she's trying to keep me safe. But what's happened is that she's continued doing the exact same thing throughout the years as she did when I was when I was a child and in my teens, and that hasn't been very helpful to me at all. And so I decided that I was going to start challenging her. So whenever she says anything negative in my head, I say, where'd you get that from, or what do you mean by that? And it's been interesting because she doesn't stand up to challenging very well. She just crumples a bit and goes, okay, you're right. And so I found it very helpful to be able to continually say to her, no, that's not correct. And the more I do it, the more that she listens and the less that she says things to me that are negative. And the difference that that's made to my life is huge, because it means that I'm able to do stuff that I wouldn't normally feel I could do. And when I hear her, I just push her to one side in that way, and I just do it. And I'm finding that I'm getting more and more confident in those things because I'm daring to try them, whereas at one time I probably wouldn't have dared to try them. So today's Facebook Live is really just to ask you, what's your inner critic saying to you? And is there a way that, if that's a negative thing, is there a way that you can help move that inner critic's voice into a more positive voice, someone who is more genuinely helpful? And what would you be doing in your life if you didn't have to think about your inner critic? Hi Linda, lovely to see you. Thank you for coming on Facebook Live. That's great. We were just talking about inner critic, Linda, and I'm just thinking about what you would do in your life if you didn't have to listen to the negativity of an inner critic. What would you do if you knew that you couldn't fail? And so that's really my message for today, is for you to all go away and think about that. And I'm certainly going to continue to push away my inner critic and hopefully continue to make a positive difference in my life. Okay, thanks very much. Have a great day. Bye.